Benjamin Šeško is one of the hottest names of the 2025 summer transfer window. Standing at 1.95 meters tall, blessed with blistering pace and a modern, athletic frame, the Slovenian striker has drawn inevitable comparisons to Erling Haaland. But before Manchester United splash 70 to 75 million pounds on him, perhaps it's worth taking a closer look at what they're really getting. At just 22, Šeško has already taken steady strides within the Red Bull football empire. He netted 18 goals for RB Leipzig last season, despite playing just over 2,000 minutes. That's a conversion rate of 25%, among the highest in the Bundesliga. His physical profile is what first grabs attention. Nearly 2 meters tall, yet his acceleration over short distances forces defenders to drop back in panic. In the air, he's a clear threat, especially during set pieces and crosses into the box. According to Y-Scout data, he won over 57% of his aerial duels in the 2024-25 season. But Šeško offers more than just brute strength. His link-up play is quietly effective. He's capable of playing with his back to goal, holding up the ball and laying it off with quick 1- or 2-touch combinations. Occasionally, he drops deeper to collect the ball and sprays diagonal passes that unlock space for midfield runners. That's a crucial trait for a system like Ruben Amorim's at Manchester United, a system that favors strikers who move, combine, and stretch the opposition, not just stand and wait. Then there's his pressing game, arguably one of his most underrated qualities. In interviews, Šeško has openly spoken about how much he's learned from fellow forwards within the Red Bull system. Every time his team loses the ball, he's among the first to react, pressuring, chasing, and throwing himself into duels. At Leipzig, he averaged 7.2 pressing actions per game in the final third. That makes him a strong fit for high-pressing teams that don't allow opponents to build from the back, exactly the kind of environment Amorim is building at Old Trafford. But let's be clear, Šeško is far from the finished product. His close control in tight spaces still leaves a lot to be desired. He's not a natural dribbler, and when time and space are limited, he's prone to being dispossessed. In high-level Champions League clashes last season, those weaknesses were exposed. Against compact defensive lines, Šeško often lost the ball on his second touch or failed to make the right decision with his back to goal. And while he's scored plenty, most of his goals have come in matches where Leipzig dominated possession or caught teams out on the break. There's limited evidence that he can consistently break down the kind of rugged, deep-lying defenses that are a weekly feature in the Premier League. To get the best out of him, a system has to serve him. Leipzig constantly fed him with balls into space and quick combinations around the box. If Bruno Fernandes dips in form, or if Mason Mount continues to fade, Šeško might find himself in the same frustrating spot as Rasmus Højlund last season, making all the right runs but with no one delivering the ball. When discussing Benjamin Šeško, it's impossible not to bring up Rasmus Højlund. Born in the same year, 2003, and both standing over 1.90 meters tall, they represent a new breed of physically dominant strikers tailor-made for modern football. Not long ago, they were hailed as the next generation of European goal machines. But after watching Højlund's turbulent season at Old Trafford, one question looms large. Are Manchester United about to steer Šeško down the same worrying path? Let's get something clear. Højlund isn't a bad striker. In his 2,419 Premier League minutes during the 2024-25 season, he scored 5 goals, averaged 2.6 shots per game, and touched the ball in the opposition box 6.3 times per 90 minutes. Decent numbers, but they only tell part of the story. The real issue lies beneath the surface. Højlund was thrown into a broken attacking setup, no structure, no supporting cast, and often left to fend for himself. In many matches, he was the player who ran the most, made all the right movements, but never saw the ball arrive. His effort went unrewarded, not because of a lack of ability, but because the system around him failed to function. Now, compare that with Šeško. He scored more goals in less time, 18 goals in just over 2,000 minutes. He averaged nearly 7 touches in the box per 90 minutes, slightly more than Højlund, and boasted a chance conversion rate that was 10% higher. The key difference? The environment. At RB Leipzig, Šeško had dynamic, creative teammates constantly feeding him the ball. At Manchester United, not so much. Even ESPN raised a cautionary note, calling Šeško a player with all the tools: movement, heading, pressing, link-up, but who hasn't yet put it all together into one complete package. Dropping him straight into the chaos of Old Trafford, where expectations crush and headlines bite, might not accelerate his development, but derail it. If United truly want Šeško to succeed, they need a clear plan. You can't expect a 22-year-old to play 50-plus matches a season, shoulder constant goal-scoring pressure, and instantly adapt to the Premier League with no safety net. He'll need support, a proper number 10 or second striker to combine with. He'll need tactical plans that adapt to different types of opponents. Most importantly, he needs to be seen not as a savior, but as a long-term investment, a foundational piece for Ruben Amorim to build around. With Manchester United still wrestling with the chaos left behind by past managers, this transfer could be a turning point, or a major gamble. Much will depend on the kind of environment Ruben Amorim is able to build around him. Over the past months, Manchester United have explored a long list of striker options, from Victor Gyökeres to Kolo Muani to Ollie Watkins. All were considered. One by one, they were ruled out. The case of Ollie Watkins perfectly captures United's transfer market struggles. Aston Villa reportedly demanded close to £70 million and flat out refused to negotiate with a direct Premier League rival. They didn't need to sell. United couldn't justify a reckless bid. And just like that, the deal was dead. Kolo Muani, tactical misfit, wage demands through the roof. And so, Šeško emerged as the last realistic target left on the board. But if Šeško arrives, what happens to Hojlund? Will one start and the other sit? Will Amorim change his system to accommodate both? Or worse, will both be shuffled from role to role? Central striker one day, wide target man the next, bench warmer by the weekend. The truth is, both players need time. Both were born in 2003. Both are long-term projects. You don't spend over £130 million on two young strikers just to toss them into a chaotic system and hope they figure it out. That's not a plan. It's a recipe for waste. And make no mistake, Šeško will not come cheap. At nearly €75 million, he'd be among the most expensive signings in Manchester United history. That price tag comes with sacrifice. Signing him likely means shelving reinforcements elsewhere, like a midfield anchor to replace Casemiro, a reliable goalkeeper after the turbulent Onana experiment, or a right-back to challenge Diogo Dalot. If United go all in on Šeško, they're essentially declaring, our biggest problem is finishing chances, not the lack of cohesion, tempo, or chemistry in the final third. But that makes the gamble even riskier. As ESPN rightly pointed out, Manchester United don't need more potential, they need solutions. Šeško, for all his promise, is not yet a complete forward. And at Old Trafford, where media pressure, fan expectation, and internal turmoil can strike at any moment, raw talent with no tactical protection is fuel for failure. If Ruben Amorim truly believes in building a system, as he did so brilliantly at Sporting Lisbon, then Šeško could be a bold but worthy investment. Amorim once turned Pedro Gonçalves from a midfielder into one of Portugal's top scorers. He built teams around young forwards. He didn't need superstars. He needed buy-in, clarity, and structure. But if Manchester United remain the disjointed, slow, tactically confused team we saw last season, struggling with build-up, pressing, and creativity in the final third, then Šeško could simply become the next name on the list. Just another promising talent swallowed by the same cycle of frustration that claimed Antony, Jadon Sancho, and Anthony Martial before him.